We are simply just a few days into 2026 and things seem to be going not in a great direction, especially in the computing space and even in the gaming space as well. We've talked about this the other day as we've noticed that GPU prices are now becoming exponentially more expensive. RAM has increased in price exponentially over the past few months. We're also seeing at the same time how CEOs of multi-trillion-dollar corporations are now doing the one thing I knew they would absolutely do, and that is trying to shift the narrative and change the blame on AI, even though they're the ones that caused this mess in the first place. The funnier part about all of this, though, is that there actually are real people in real life and even ex-CEOs who believe that for some reason, certain sections of the gaming space or even technology space will not be impacted by this price increase at all whatsoever. And trust me, when you see what they say, it's probably going to make your blood boil. But the thing is, though, it's not only starting there. It turns out that even B2B customers, people inside the business space who are having those contractual obligations with people like SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron are now going to be paying even more money for RAM. No, I'm not kidding. According to WCCF Tech, DRAM contract prices are projected to rise by 50% in this quarter. That's right. We're not talking about this year. We're not talking about a few years from now. They're talking about this quarter specifically right now. We've reported on this before on the channel, where companies like Samsung are doubling the price of their contracted negotiations. And the thing is, I want to make this very clear. We're not talking about customer contract negotiations. We're talking about B2B, business to business, the actual long-term agreements or LTAs that are filed by big companies like Microsoft, like Nintendo, like PlayStation, and so many others that are trying to get their hands on as much RAM as possible to sell you the product. And all those negotiations should be increasing in price by 50%, thereby causing you, the customer and consumer, to pay more money because of it. In fact, things are probably going to be getting even worse, according to the article as well. Let's take a look. According to WCCF Tech, manufacturers are rushing to enter long-term agreements, or LTAs, with memory suppliers, as evolving contract prices are forcing them to acquire inventory at higher costs. Mainstream PC OEMs are claimed to have just a few weeks of DRAM supply left, and given that we are entering an upgrade cycle following CES announcements, manufacturers are looking to secure LTAs for the entire year. However, since this is a seller's market, PC OEMs are expected to pay a substantial sum to ensure they can meet consumer demand. That's right, we now have PC companies, and dare I say even other companies as well, rushing out to go through and sign up in massive, expensive, long-term agreements with companies like Samsung, Micron, and SK Hynix to secure RAM for themselves. The problem is, these three companies are basically just the mafia of the computer gaming industry, and they're going to be putting every single manufacturer over a barrel to pay more money, simply because companies like Microsoft and OpenAI have unlimited checkbooks, and they will be spending whatever they can to secure that RAM for themselves in the first place for their large language models. The thing is, though, we've already seen the ramification of this, in fact, impact everybody right now. We've seen pre-built PCs come without RAM. We've seen so many other things happen as well, not including the price of GPUs increase, but NVIDIA stating that third-party board partners won't have any VRAM on their boards to then sell to you as a customer and consumer. And it's gotten so bad that even Apple themselves will no longer be putting out a phone every single year. If Apple isn't doing it, then you know things are getting bad. But there's more to the article, so let's keep going. More importantly, for suppliers like SK Hynix and Samsung, the primary focus is on profitability. This is why, apart from catering to the AI segment, these suppliers are also scrutinizing their customers in the PC industry, which is one of the reasons why mainstream OEMs are expected to benefit from the situation. Firms like Lenovo and Dell are already known to be preparing for extensive price hikes this quarter, which would likely be reflected in their upcoming products. The memory shortages aren't expected to calm down anytime soon. With the data center build-out evolving at a rapid pace, DRAM suppliers are struggling to keep up with demand. This is why for consumers, DDR5 and DDR4 memory prices are expected to rise significantly even after the recent historical increases. So not only are we seeing the price increase for DDR5 happen, it's also impacting DDR4 RAM as well. And it won't just be impacting PC OEM manufacturers. No, Dell and Lenovo are going to be going around and making those contracts and paying for that RAM. But the problem is they're also going to be limiting the amount of RAM you get as an actual power of compute as a customer and consumer. And they're going to be passing off that price increase onto you as well. Prepare for exponentially more expensive things like laptops and etc. Or even then, having far more restricted devices with 8 gigabytes of RAM on top of that, or even 8 gigabytes of VRAM on GPUs. The funnier part about all of this isn't the fact that we're seeing these companies do this. The funnier part is we're actually seeing CEOs of companies go around and state that there's not going to be an issue with anything else in the industry, even though this is going to definitely impact every other console or every other gaming device on the face of the earth, or even any device in general on the face of the earth that even uses RAM in the first place. In fact, here is Mike Ibarra himself talking about the GPD Win 5 and its actual price and what he thinks is going to be happening. Mike Ibarra quote tweeted Digital Foundry talking about the GDP Win 5, saying this: "The issue is this thing is $1,500. I get the mobile capacity, but just get a PS5 Pro and a ton of games. This is why a subsidized console model will always be of benefit to a lot of people. The upfront cost has to be made up over time via services and third-party royalties, as most people can't afford $1,500 devices, especially if GPU prices go up and RAM like expected. PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X could last another 4 years if needed." Watching someone like Mike Ibarra, who was at Xbox specifically, then also at Activision Blizzard, be completely out of touch at what's actually happening in the business space truly is nothing new for this guy. This dude has had bad take after bad take after bad take. There is no longer going to be a subsidized console market. We're seeing these companies sell their consoles and increase the price of their consoles twice in the same generation. We're also hearing the fact that the next generation of consoles could in fact be delayed due to the fact that there is a RAM crisis as well. And the rumor going around is we may even see another third price increase this generation with the current set of consoles as well. We're not going to be seeing a $500 console anymore. We're going to be seeing $800 to $900 consoles, and to make things worse, $1,200 to $1,500 PCs to simply be at that base minimum level. The problem is this dude is so completely out of touch, not understanding what is actually happening in this space. But if you want to talk about truly being out of touch, there's nobody better than Satya Nadella himself. Because according to Windows Central, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella wants you to stop calling AI slop in 2026. This has to be a whole brand new one. You guys, listen, don't call AI slop, even though it's going around and completely replacing people, not doing anything of substance, being nothing more than just a fancier search engine. And at the same time, we're completely destroying the entire ecosystem, making you pay more for products, removing any compute power from you. But hey guys, look, slop, that's a mean word. Don't call it that. Okay, guys? Here's the thing. Satya Nadella is also the same guy who spent $80 billion to invest more into AI and into Microsoft. Nadella is also the same guy who has been working in tandem with OpenAI, investing into OpenAI, and then specifically designing Copilot to make sure it is as invasive into your OS as it possibly can be. The entire concept and idea that this guy's trying to tell you not to call AI slop simply because it'll hurt his feelings really is the most insane thing of all. But let's go ahead and see what actually was said and go from there, because it's probably going to be really cringe. Yeah. With the article saying this: if you had any illusion that Microsoft might address concerns about any of its major product categories in 2026, Nadella's quote, "Looking ahead to 2026" article offers an insight into the company's focus for the new year, and yup, it's all about AI. With Nadella saying, quote, "As I reflect on the past year and look toward the one ahead, there's no question 2026 will be a pivotal year for AI." No, he's not kidding. It's really going to be one of those years, I'm telling you right now. Yes, another one, Nadella opines, but this moment feels different in a few notable ways. We have moved past the initial phase of discovery and are entering a phase of widespread diffusion. We are beginning to distinguish between spectacle and substance. We now have a clearer sense of where the tech is headed, but also the harder, more important question of how to shape its impact on the world. We need to go beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication, Nadella laments, emphasizing hopes that society will become more accepting of AI, or what Nadella describes as cognitive amplifier tools, and develop a new equilibrium in terms of our theory of the mind that accounts for humans being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. Look, this insane insistence on what Nadella has been doing in the AI space for Microsoft really is insane. The fact that this dude is walking around talking about we have to do better with it, when in reality all people are using AI for is either to make really funny cat memes or at the same time using it as a search engine, because really that's exactly what it's for. People are just using it to scrape all the data from online and be like, what's the best website that I can go to find the information that I need? And that's pretty much it. Anybody using it for anything else is basically overpaying for nothing, or basically just living in Blade Runner right now. We're seeing this, in fact, same thing unfold as Nadella and Microsoft fired 1,500 employees, but then turned around and said, hey, we're going to also go ahead and scrap everything out of Windows and have 33% of the actual code being written by AI, while at the same time being unable to actually open up a file explorer and having everything on the actual operating system be nothing more than a fucking web app, and not even native on the actual exe in the system. And I think the more insane part about all of this isn't just the fact that Nadella is walking around saying things like this, pretending as if people are going to be using AI in some magical, mystical way, and not as an actual job replacement for corporations to reduce the amount of headcount they have, but also to increase their own profits by lining their pockets not only with companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, AMD, and Intel, who are basically now just sharing IOUs between each other to go through and pump up the actual GDP and economy, while at the same time just eliminating everybody's ability to make any sort of income. We're literally seeing in real time the fact that Nadella and so many others are trying to remove the ability for you to have actual power and compute in your own hands as a user. Again, what these companies want is to restrict you and to stop you from being able to properly do what you need to do on your own. And if you don't believe me, Nadella himself even stated it, that they have warehouses full of GPUs and RAM sitting there doing nothing because they don't have enough power in the infrastructure or grid to even power these racks and devices, simply just sitting there unused in a warehouse doing literally nothing at all, while he's turning around and saying how great AI is and then pushing this towards everybody in the forefront. This is a ridiculous statement overall to have, and an honestly insane thing as well. And just to be totally honest about things, I personally hate the word slop. I feel people use it as a catch-all so that way they can describe something that they don't even actually like. Just like trying to label somebody as a grifter, meaning you don't have any actual evidence of them grifting, you just want to mislabel them in the first place and try to degrade them down. The thing is, though, AI can be used in a proper way, but the problem is it's not being used that way right now. It's being used as a way to just simply make nothing but slop. And we've seen this happen over and over. We've seen people use it on Grok, on Twitter, literally all day long to every OF model you can possibly imagine. Hell, the OF models are doing it themselves. And at the same time, AI is just being used as a basic web crawler function, simply because Google was too stupid to go around and just keep their actual search engine doing well. They could have solved this problem in the first place and never had to worry about AI at all and been an actual competitor without having to make Gemini. It's amazing what these companies do to make their own problems now, isn't it? But you see, because of Nadella's insistence on AI and what he's trying to dub as not slop, the issue is that we're seeing a worse performing operating system with Windows 11. In fact, they're trying to get rid of all the C code in 11 too. According to Windows' latest, Microsoft is planning to eliminate every line of C and C++ from the company by 2030. This potential rewrite could dramatically change Windows 11, saying, quote, "Our strategy is to combine AI and algorithms to rewrite Microsoft's largest code bases," a Microsoft engineer noted. "Our North Star is one engineer, 1 month, 1 million lines of code." Microsoft says it has built a powerful code processing infrastructure and an AI processing infrastructure that enables the company to apply AI agents guided by algorithms to make code modifications at scale. Microsoft plans to translate the largest C and C++ code systems to Rust. So not only are we starting to see Microsoft go around and say, hey, we're just going to have AI write Windows 11 for you, so that's going to run like absolute shit. Please, God, Gabe, do something. We need SteamOS and Linux to really punching the fucking numbers right here, buddy. Come on. Let's get to work, boys. Let's do this. But we're also seeing the ramifications of this AI push by all these companies as well impact every single customer and consumer, especially in the PC gaming space and even in the console gaming space as well. We've called out the fact that RAM suppliers and companies are now cherry picking specific customers on who they're going to sell their RAM to, basically just setting out to the highest bidder. And what's even crazier is companies like Crucial and Micron are now going around and canceling orders. Because according to WCCF Tech, Corsair reportedly cancels user's PC order and hikes the price by $800. The user ordered a Corsair Vengeance gaming PC for $3,499 and even received an invoice, only for Corsair to later cancel the order without explanation and relist the same system at $4,299. We are watching in real time as companies say, no, you're not paying enough, and then go to their business partners and say, no, you're also not paying enough, and then increase the price of them. The fact that people in the comment section of this tweet thread are saying things like, he could sue Crucial and Micron. Yeah, they'll be more than happy to pay off the lawsuit, and then one single B2B contract will pay off everything else that happened with that lawsuit in the first place. They'll pay off the dude, give him a PC, and be like, we'll wash our hands with it and sell everything else to every other company as well. These companies literally do not care. This is a cartel. This is an actual mafia of RAM happening in the PC gaming space. And the problem is 3 companies on the entire planet are basically controlling all the pricing of every single electronic device on Earth, simply because every company has to work with one of these 3 or all 3 at the same time to get anything to function electronically that has any sort of memory applied to them at all. The fact that Apple themselves won't even be able to release their yearly slop iPhone. I just did the thing. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I know. That's why it's a joke. That's why I did that. On a yearly basis and had to make the delay. We're seeing right now all these companies as well, with the rumor going around the next generation of consoles will also be delayed. And my guess is you'll see a price increase for those too. But the thing is, a price increase is already happening now. Because according to Shinobi on Twitter, Asus will be increasing prices on various products from January 5th, including the ROG Ally, to absorb increasing costs across the country. Now, we talked about this on the previous video as well, but the thing is, I didn't think it would be happening this fast. Literally, right before CES, Asus is going to be increasing the pricing of basically everything, including the ROG Ally devices, where the ROG Ally X is already $1,000. My guess is you're going to be seeing that thing go up to $1,200. That's where I think this is all going to be going, and maybe even higher, making even the white ROG Ally increase another $200 as well, which also goes into the fact that we're seeing right now how Steam had to stop selling the LCD model of their Steam Deck simply because I'm guessing they couldn't afford to do that either, and only having the OLED model too. This could also impact the Steam Machine as well, that's supposed to be coming out this year or could be getting a delay, and also every other game console manufacturer on top of that. These companies sure may have had RAM in the back end to go ahead and satiate themselves for a couple of months, but the thing is, we're going to be seeing, like we saw in the previous article, these companies go around having to go through and renegotiate their contracted agreements or LTAs with SK Hynix, with Samsung, and with Micron to keep their production of these consoles and systems. Or they'll just go around and say, hey, look, what you get is what you get. Sign up for our online service instead. Stream everything from the cloud. Give us money every month instead of a one-time transaction, which I think is exactly what these companies want to do. Remove the power of compute from you as a customer and consumer, then force you to only be able to play games through the cloud, and then at the same time hook you in that one sense, and then also increase the price on you after they have you hooked, because they're no longer going to be able to afford to make those contracted agreements and give you the ability to own proper computing power. That's the scariest part about all of this. And watching all this go down in the first week of the year means we're going to be in for a hell of a wild ride. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think Satya Nadella is right in saying, hey guys, don't call AI slop? Or are we watching the actual tech version of Bohemian Grove happen in real time? Let me know what you guys have to say in the comments section down below. If you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 104,000 subs. And I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit, get insulted by 800 people with TTS. Also, this Saturday, I'm wearing a Cammy cosplay. Yes, that Cammy cosplay. Tonight. Be there. 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Right here. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!